was a housemaster there, Glenn Harrison, and he'd been reporting for 25 years that the children had been abused. It's a military run, a Ministry of Defence school, and all the children's parents are in the military. So while they're away, their children had been getting taken away for weekend trips by high-profile people in Scotland, friends of this school. Now, you shouldn't be a friend of a school unless you've got children there. Why that wasn't even questioned, I don't know. And why these children were allowed to get taken away for weekend trips. But that isn't, ultimately that's not the problem. The Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry hearings have started back up. But this Queen Victoria School in Dunblane is protected by a 100-year secrecy rule. Now, the 100-year secrecy rule was put on it 25 years ago with the Dunblane shootings. Thomas Hamilton had connections, the guy that done that, to the Dunblane, the Queen Victoria School in Dunblane. He used to shoot at their shooting ranges. He also had youth centres in Dunblane where he was abusing children. He also abused children at a summer trip in Loch Lomond in Scotland 5 years before the shootings. And he held a gun to one of the children's heads. Now, there was a report that's hidden by the 100-year secrecy rule, and in this report, it was a complaint made against Thomas Hamilton that they revoke his gun licence, and they put him on the sex offenders register. Now, they didn't. They let him carry on for another 5 years, and then that happened to the children in Dunblane. And then a 100-year secrecy rule was put on it so that none of the abusers can be named. Now, there's loads of victims for the Queen Victoria School want to come forward. I've spoken to a few. But they can't, because they're not going to get any justice. They've already went to the police and they've been told they can't prosecute because of the 100-year secrecy rule, that their perpetrators are protected under this rule. Now, I'm talking about politicians, MPs, royals, you name it, they're protected under this rule, and they had connections to the Queen Victoria School. Now, we're going to be campaigning for this 100-year secrecy rule to get lifted, and we'll also be campaigning outside Parliament soon, every day if we need to, for this 100-year secrecy rule to get lifted. Whether every single building in Scotland will be going to the main Chief Police Scotland building, whoever it takes, the Prosecutor Fiscal's offices, everywhere to get this 100-year secrecy rule lifted. Now, not only is there a 100-year secrecy rule, but could you hold that up, Robert? There's also Scotland, the UK, and across the world has 37 mass child grave sites. Some of them are babies, some of them are children, all children. Now, one of these, this was published in The Guardian in 2017, and it's the Smylium, so you don't know how to say that, SMYLLUM Park in Lanark. So this was during the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry. They're still to investigate these claims. There's at least 400 children buried in unmarked graves, and it was connected to the Daughters of Charity of St Vincent de Paul Orphanage in Lanark. Now, in that one alone, there's at least 400 children buried in unmarked graves. But what you'll find, every single orphanage in Scotland has children buried in unmarked graves. No one knows how the children died. They were refusing excavation. There's child mass, there's 37 of them across the world. Most of them are in, see wherever the Queen's bought land, they're in children's homes and orphanages that are built on that land, and these mass grave sites are there. Now, we're also going to campaign, because we want to find out how many children have been murdered by our institutions in Scotland, how many children died through this abuse, and how they died. And we're going to campaign. We don't care if there's thousands and thousands and thousands of them. We're not going to stop until we've found out how many children have died in Scotland at the hands of our institutions. So basically that's what I wanted to speak about today. The 100-year secrecy rule in Dunblane, we're going to start campaigning to get that lifted so that victims of the Queen Victoria School can come forward. And we're going to start trying to get these mass grave sites excavated. There's archaeologists discovered a few as well, but they're getting refusing excavation by our Queen. So I think it's the Queen we need to write to. They're getting refusing excavation by the Queen and the Scottish Government. So we need to write to the Scottish Government and the Queen in regards to the mass child grave sites across Scotland that we want them dug up. We want to find out how many children that died at the hands of our institutions. And also, this abuse is still going on with our institutions. They've never cleared them out. They've never totally shut them down. So this is still going on today. They're still stealing our children. There's still children going missing. But in 2018, since 2018, there's 27,000 missing children in Scotland. That's a Freedom of Information request. 27,000 missing children in 3 years. How can 27,000 children just go missing? They can't. Where are these children? These are the questions we need to start asking the Scottish Government. Not a lot of people are aware that the institutions, that children are disappearing every day. There's young children being trafficked to the care homes. There's no questions getting asked where they've disappeared to. There's nobody in the institutions raising awareness to say that there's grooming gangs and that they're vulnerable and that they could fall victim to these grooming gangs and traffickers. Nobody's in the care homes protecting the children, and the child protection and social services are a part of the trafficking. So we really need to do something about this. In Scotland, it's a massive problem. Right, and thanks guys. And if anybody want to speak.
How you doing, people? My name's Robert, aka Rob S. Now, the reason I'm here today is support Save Our Children, because children are very important. They're the next generation of families, and they're losing their rights on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis because of the corruption within the legal establishment to hide trafficking, child abuse. Recently, just over a month ago, a young female was raped in a park in Kinnan Park. They've got the guy that did this. Now, they're targeting the kids in the street, they're targeting the kids in the parks, and it's not acceptable anymore. We need Police Scotland to open their eyes and stand with the people and start prosecuting these predators and these abusers of the system and the sons and daughters of Scotland. It's diabolical. What value do you put on a life of a son or a daughter that's been abused? They can never face the reality of what happened to them. They can only accept it because they have no choice. And this is the problem. With the establishment, the corruption, they have no choice. They think these predators think it's normal just to go out and abuse sons and daughters, rape, and that's it, murder. Now, we have to bring the end to the corruption within Scotland, within the legal system, legal society. That is not acceptable anymore. The people have to get on the ground, get the numbers up, and let's start withdrawing consent for these stupid rules like the 100-year secrecy rule. That's their rule, it's not a law. And I verify that, because I'm a common law specialist. Enough is enough. When does the people say enough is enough? When does the people say that we've got to stop this nonsense? Because that's what it is. This isn't a new normal that people are going to get their sons and daughters abused. We're having it no more, and we're taking no more. Time to stand up, be counted, people. Time to spread the word out there. We're going to stop abuse to our sons and daughters and everybody's sons and daughters. It's not acceptable. It's wrong. It's immoral. And that's a fact. I'm privileged here today to stand here and support Save Our Children. The care system is a fraud. Sons and daughters have been taken unlawfully into the care system, and the same thing's happening. Sons and daughters are being abused with the care system. My sister's son and daughter was stolen in 2014 based on lies and fraud. Social workers, and I can verify this in private capacity under full personal liability, are paid liars. There are a lot of good people within the system, same as Police Scotland. There's a lot of good constables that know their job, and there's a lot of different constables. So, I respect these constables today for letting us be heard in George Square. It's appreciated that they've took time and given us the honour and the privilege to stand here and be heard. And it's a milestone that's just been moved, because we're not here to cause controversy and we're not here to cause any trouble. We're a peaceful, lawful gathering. It is not a protest, and there is no organisers, and let me make that clear. We're just people, like-minded people coming together to address the issues of the child abuse. Anyway, people, thanks for letting me be heard and having my say. Anybody else want to speak?
Hi everybody, I'm standing here to talk about social services. Now, I've had umpteen families contacting me about their kids being removed from them through no fault of their own. These families are trying to work with social services and getting nowhere. Now, the problem I've got with them trying to work with social services, they're trying to get support through legal aid, to take these social workers to court for what's happened to their kids, but the legal aid board's no touching the families or no want to help these families. Why? When legal aid boards can help people who's murdered people in this country, they can help people who have raped people in this country, but they can't help families get their own kids back, which I think is totally shocking. Now the problem we've got is I'm hearing maybe 30, 40 people a day coming to me, telling me that their kids have been removed from them. Then they're forcing them to sign paperwork so they can't get their kids back. Now what I'm going to say to everybody here today, do not sign any paperwork you've been told to sign by social services until you've sought legal advice from somebody. Because if you sign that paperwork, there's nothing in hell you can do to get your kid back. So do not sign nothing and seek legal advice. And if you've got a witness with you, somebody that knows more about the law than you do. You've got a right to videotape you as well when you're in with a social worker, so you can then go to somebody else to say to somebody else, look, going to guide me on this. Now everybody, please listen to what we're trying to see here, because far too many kids have been taken away and far too many families have been treated like crap for nothing.
Standing up for their rights.
You need to stand up for your children's rights and your rights. And this is, if you want, you can get any of us on Facebook and we will help you anytime. Anything we can do, we will help any family who's going through this at the moment. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to work with families. We're trying to work with people who have been raped, sodomised, whatever throughout the city. We're trying to do that. That's why we're here as a group, and we're here to protect the kids. And some of the families that's going through the things that they're going through just now, because it's shocking. They shouldn't have to worry that if they go to a social worker, social workers are going to take their kids off them.
They should be getting the support they need.
The support should be there for families. And they're not getting this support. Thanks everybody for listening.
I want to verify something here, people. When it regards legal paperwork, no man or woman has to sign any paperwork. There is no crime in law if you do, and there is no crime in law if you don't. You don't have to consent to anything. There's a language on documents, all legal documents, it's called legalese and glossa. The language on the document, what you think it means, does not have that meaning. It's entirely different meanings. It's a foreign language on all legal paperwork. This is the deception. And I can verify that in private capacity under full liability here now, even under a charge of perjury. You do not have to consent to anything. The problem we have with social services and children's panels, people think that the children's panel, what they do is right, it's wrong. It is volunteers picked from the street. Where does the volunteers get the right to take your property, sons or daughters? They don't have that right. They use rules, regulations and policies. It's not law, and I verify that in private capacity under full liability. Everything I tell you here now I can verify. I stand in honour and I stand in truth. I don't need to lie, and I never give myth information. Everything I give you is a verifiable fact, and I'll challenge anybody, anywhere, in the legal system, legal society, come forward and prove me wrong, and I'll shoot them down in flames. People are being victimised in children's panels. I recently went to a children's panel with a friend and I seen how corrupt it was. Didn't matter, well, I was helping this man in this case, and the panel were trying to talk over me all the time, and they were trying to call the shots. They think they're above the law, and they think they have the right to take your son or daughter. Now I want to explain something when it comes to law, common law, because common law is the law of the land, and how I can verify that is because I've been charged recently last year with a common law charge. So if there was no common law, I would be nailed under a statute and act. Statutes and act are silent. Now, plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism under common law is your son or daughter. Daughters under 12 being taken without consent, and boys under 14 being taken without consent is plagiarism, and it's a crime. It's also classed as theft of property. Your son or daughter is your property. The mother, and this is the thing, the mother, in America right now they're trying to remove the word mother from the dictionary. I think they've done that. They're trying to hide history and make their own future, and that can't be allowed. They're deceiving the people, they're lying to the people, and I verify that in private capacity under full liability. I stand here and I try to educate people, not because I'm trying to be malice or trying to be smart, But what I'm trying to tell you is the truth, and the truth is what I stand in, and I can verify everything. I'm here to help people protect their rights, and this is the difference. There's two systems. There's legal, there's lawful. And the lawful relates to man or woman, inherent and inalienable rights. Legal is for the person. Duties, obligations and responsibilities, and this is where the big deception, the illusion is happening. And if I can get the numbers to stand with a man, come together with the people in every community in Scotland, I'll show you how to get change, and I'll make change so fast that these people will not touch the ground with their feet, because they're all acting in fraud. Aye. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, people. Again, thank you for letting me be heard.
Yeah, good. Is it afternoon, is it? Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Stefan Achim Lausman. It's going to take me a little bit for me to come out with this, but last year I was described by my CPN of being a sociopath. Now, I was born out of incest. My mother got pregnanted by my uncle, who's my real dad, back in '77. I'm shaken about both my parents. My German dad, who's not really my real dad, was a heroin addict, and my mother was a heroin addict. She attended an Irish industrial school back in Dublin, and she faced absolute horrendous abuse before she met my dad. I never seen eye to eye with the Gardaí. When I was a young boy, to prove my worth, I had to go into a street battle, and I was given two choices, a knuckle duster or a knife, and I chose a dog chain because it was easier to strangle the boy in the battle. I'm 42 now. My parents expected me to save the world. They expected me to learn 7 different languages and the Bible off by heart. I worked for the City Council for 10 years pretty much, and the City Council is an absolutely atrocious organisation. You only get into the council, and same with the police, you only get into these organisations by who you know, not what you know. And you can all stand and stare. Yeah, stand and stare all you want. I have had 42 years of hell. My parents made me jump out of a high riser when I was 5. I nearly drowned because my mum just watched when I was a little boy. I never had a proper schooling. I don't have a degree. I live off benefits now. And my parents expected me to save the world. My dad is my German dad's a retired frigate captain. And my parents got tipped off about this virus. This is happening. This is just all smoke and mirrors. This is all smoke and mirrors, folks. In 2024, we'll have a nuclear holocaust on our doorstep. I'm 42, I can guarantee you that. You can find me on Twitter if you want. I had to go on Facebook. I'm constantly being chased. I'm constantly being harassed by the police. My mum thinks I'm committing suicide. No, I'm not. I had the police at my door 3 times. Absolutely. We have a society does not exist on this planet. This great reset, whatever they want to call it, it's about Africa is still waiting on their doses of vaccine. The vaccine is a complete lie. You're only getting a maximum of 80% protection. You need 100% protection, otherwise there's no point. I took Covonia to get rid of the cough I had. A simple Covonia cough. Do you know what I mean? It's a mockery. We are being taken for a ride. We have been taken for a ride ever since the human race existed. And I take my hat off to you guys protesting on behalf of children. Regretfully, it's going to be probably too late, but there's no harm in trying, as the old saying goes. All right? That's all in a nutshell, folks, but thanks very much for listening to me.
There's been a lot of posts in the Glasgow Times and other newspapers calling us, as it stands here on Saturday, conspiracy theorists. There's everything that we tell you, like Rob said, everything that we tell you is 100% factual. We get all our information from Police Scotland, Freedom of Information requests. We do hours and hours of research. We don't tell you anything that isn't factual. Everything we tell you is already out there. You only need to look for it to see. Isn't it a conspiracy that 27,000 children are missing in Scotland? Isn't it a conspiracy that they allowed 100 members of a grooming gang free back into the streets of Glasgow a couple of years ago? Isn't it a conspiracy? 8 members of the worst paedophile ring free back into the streets of Glasgow as well. Isn't it a conspiracy that our children are being exploited and raped every single day? why are people not interested? How can the over 2,000 people turn up in this square for a football team winning a league? But look how many of us are here for our own children being exploited every single day. It doesn't make sense to me, it absolutely disgusts me. And like people are saying, that people are now thinking it's too late to help our children because nobody wants to help them. Who's going to help them? Because social work won't help them, child protection won't help them. So
the institutions are abusing them.
Nobody's going to help them. It's up to us. It's up to us to protect our own children. Exactly. You need to be so careful. Like, I'm absolutely sick of telling people. I feel like I'm just fighting a losing battle sometimes. It's an absolute nightmare. If you care about children, you need to come here and support us. We need numbers. This isn't enough people. Like, thanks so much for everybody for coming, but it isn't enough.
If you think it's bad enough about the children, the hundreds and hundreds
of children that are buried in Scotland now, that have got unmarked graves, if you just keep ignoring that, that's going to be thousands and thousands. It's only going to get worse. If that's what's happened in the decades and we allow it and we just say, okay, that's fine, we'll accept it, then that gives them the right to keep murdering and abusing our children. So we need to stand up for them. We still have freedom of speech, and while we have it, we should be using it. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has a voice, you need to be using it. Stick up for your children in Scotland. No football teams care about the children.
The future, yeah, our future. Their children are our future.
And their
It's never
future.
too late to protect our kids.
It's never too late, but we need numbers. We need more numbers than this. Like, it's not enough. There's nothing that we can't move forward without numbers.
Yeah.
Listen, you all need to wake up here, right? This is all over the world. This is global, right? They've been doing it for years and years and years. Way back to the Babylonian times, as we were getting back way back, right? And it's all about getting the wins, right? It's all about getting the wins, right? And then adrenochrome. Listen, it's all there. Everybody, it's all there for you to see, but people don't want to see. They can't see the woods for the trees. They think we're standing here week after week for the good of our health. No, we're here for the wins of the world. Right, and it's everywhere. Everywhere. They're digging them up everywhere. Right, they were here 2 weeks ago for Rangers and Celtic. Went far. Eh? No for the wins. No for the wins. They've not got a clue what's going on. They've not got a clue. I've been coming here for a year, trying to tell people what's going on. People don't care. That's as far as I can see. They think we're actually kidding on. They think they're kidding on. Listen, all they need to do is go on and look through YouTube. That's where all your news is. It's not the television. The television's just a box that programs you. You just sit and you just sit and you just sit. Listen, I can't keep going on and on because it is what it is, right? But people are going to get a big bang. All of them, because they're all going down. Right, it's just a matter of time. Right, but people need to be aware. This is no kid on, and anything that's getting said here, right, is fact. The truth will prevail with everything.
This wee song I'm going to put on, right, this song is like facts. It was just about 6 months ago the guy wrote this. I'm going to see if I can get it to play through here.
Picture this, 4-year-old little girl, she don't play much. She don't smile, she don't laugh, she don't say much. She don't know what it is to be a kid, she don't have any friends but grown men. And what they want, you know what they want, what they paid for. Nobody think about the children till they take yours. And nobody could imagine this could ever happen, to have a kid never living next door. The truth could bring tears, 1.2 million children a year, 1.1 COVID deaths worldwide. You won't help save the kids, but you will live in fear. The more that I hear, more disgusted I get that the world could commit so much horrible shit. So for the children, used, bruised and abused, to you I refuse to forget. I'll be looking for any other side. If something isn't right, you can see it with your eyes. Tell me how a mother can sell her own got this mic, yes, I gotta tell it. If you can ignore this, then you're heartless. I know we can take more out of the darkness. And before they make your kid a target, pedophiles should die before charges. Did you know in the year of 2020, statistics still show 1 out of 10 kids will be victims of human trafficking? And that this year alone, 200,000 of them kids are in the U.S. There's 130 people being trafficked every hour worldwide, day or night, rain or shine. 30 million children have lost their childhoods to this horrendous activity. So I don't know about you, but for me, it's unacceptable. And change must happen. Look, there's kids being trafficked and trapped in a world that you don't think exists. The adults that they trusted and teach them and guide them through life, these people are sick. I look at these pictures of innocent children, not all of them taken, but all of them missed. And I just been praying that somebody's coming to save them and make them feel happy and bliss. You do not need a cape or superpowers to be a hero. Let's save our children, let's spread awareness. See me, I'm willing to step up and speak on behalf of the millions of people who fight in this war of child trafficking, the rich and the poor, of all races, selling kids like a store. In y'all's faces, I can't take it no more. Their future depends on us. Right here in this nation, we love and endure. They're hungry and cold, some sleep on the floor. They keep their head down, not allowed to look forward. Some never felt love, they only felt horrors. What if we could find them all and bring them home and heal them? Could we come together? Could we work together? Could we save together now? Save our children.
Thanks, guys.
Good afternoon, Glasgow. You alright? Proud to be here today with Save Our Children. I don't need to add to the details that people like Mandy and Laura, Mags and Robert have talked about. It's a problem that unfortunately has been with us for a long, long time. It's a problem that we as a community need to deal with. We obviously cannot rely on authorities, so unfortunately we're going to have to continue to keep taking the lead on this issue, and we will. And it's great to see you all today, just as a presence, to register that presence.
We need the police to help the people convict these paedophiles and perpetrators, because it's gone on too long and it needs to stop. And let me be crystal clear on one thing. To all you people that's not here that see this video, just remember, if you have young sons and daughters out in the street playing with their friends, getting into parks, other areas, it's isolated. It could be your son or daughter next that's being abused. So pay attention to what we're telling you. We are here for the right reason, not for any other reason. We're here to make aware of what's going on in Scotland. And it's not just Scotland, it's England, Ireland and Wales and worldwide. We have an international problem, and sons and daughters are potential targets, and it needs to stop. And I would like to finally finish off by thanking all the constables here today that's had their patience and given us the courtesy to stand here. And I think they're now aware that we're not here to cause trouble, and we're not here to be abusive. We're here in honour, and we stand in honour, and we want to awaken the people. Again, thank you for the people turning up here today, and especially thank you for the constables for their time and patience. Thank you again. Bye-bye, people.